we have discussed about where we can choose the web application and when we can choose the function app. And for the function app, here we are having the input bindings and here we are having the output bindings, which means it's a direction. And what are the plans? So when we can choose a consumption plan, if you want a cheapest solution, then you can go for the consumption plan. But if you want a network integration like a inbound traffic, then you can go for the function premium. But for the both of the cases, we will have a 200 instances. You can go up to 200 instance and everything will be managed by Microsoft for these two plans, right? And then when we can choose the ASP, if it is existing in your portal, then you can use it. Or if you want a always on, then and then only you can create a ASP for your function app, right? So let's create one function app. So from here, I can just search for function. So see here I have a function app. Now you are creating the function app, not a function. So inside that function app, you can create a multiple functions. So I'm using here resource group. Here again, you can just put your name, unique name, because it will also create the URL. So I can choose Madhvi function 123. Okay, that's it. Here also you will have a Docker container or you can just go with the code. So in my last web application, I have chosen ASP.NET. So here let's choose a Node.js. And here I'm selecting the East US region, done. And see here, if I'm selecting the serverless consumption plan, then I'm not getting anything over here. But let's say if I'm selecting the function premium, see here, this is my function premium and I need to select some of the reserved instances. See here. And everywhere you will get a virtual network integration. And also it is called as a rapid scaling, right? So isolated version is not present because that requirement has already fulfilled over here. So that's it. I don't want it. If I'm getting inside my ASP, see here function premium instead of that ASP. So you can choose. If you remember, I have created that ASP, right, in my web application. So if you have an existing one, you can use that. But let's say if I want to go with my consumption plan, I can just go with that. And then the hosting is very important. Hosting means what? Function app is the triggering function, triggering mechanism. So whenever there is a trigger, it will create some logs in the backend. And that logs we need to store somewhere. Maybe it's a serverless, maybe it's a function consumption plan or function premium or anything, but I need for the logging purpose, I need a separate storage. So this will be your storage for the logs and all this stuff, right? To trigger that things. As well as you can use that storage account for your another purpose. If you want to put some inputs or output binding over there, then also you can do that. So this is what RG app 9758, like that. So I'm okay with that. Networking, again, here you can manage your outbound, and that outbound is only for the function premium and the ASPs, dedicated ASPs. Monitoring, again, as I said, one application inside you can use for multiple web application as well as function app. See here, this is my function, or this is my application settings, insights for my web application. So I'm using this one only. Deployment. So here also, if you have your code in your repository, you can utilize that and then review and create it. So this is what a function app, not a function. So now inside the function app, you can create multiple functions. So what I have done, I have created a function app. Now inside that, there are multiple functions. You can create multiple functions inside that. So every function, let's say this is a function number 1. Every function is having two files. It contains two files. One is a code file. Another one is function.json file. Function.json is a must. So this JSON will not change. If you are using the .NET version, if you are using the C# or anything, it never change. But here the code file will change the extension as per the .js, maybe you are using the .NET or Python or anything like that. It will change the code index dot something as per your code. So right now I have chosen that the node.js. So here it will be like that, .js or index.js, right? But this file is same function.json, which includes the bindings. What is mean by bindings? Input and output direction. So this is my function app. So whatever coming inside and whatever going outside, these are called as input and output bindings, right? What is the direction of it? And remember that one function is having only one trigger, but having multiple inputs. Let's say if I'm having a trigger which is a 1 hour, right? After every 1 hour it will trigger, which is a timer trigger. And for the input, I'm taking the input from a multiple sensors. So I can add a multiple sensors over there, and I can just copy that value and I can just put it into the database, storage account, or anywhere. Whatever my outputs are there, I can just do that. But only one trigger, right? So this is what my function app. So let's get inside that. See here, this part is done. And also there is another advantage of a function app. Let me just show you that whenever I'm creating the function app, see here, runtime stack. So either you can choose a .NET, either you can choose a Node.js, Python, and Java. But where is the Ruby? Where is the C#? Where is another things? So here, if you want to create, instead of these programming languages, if you want to create another programming language, or if you want to select another runtime, then you can go for the custom handler. Okay, so that will be also your question in your examination. Just remember that. So this part is done. Now let me just get inside my function. So this is my function app. And inside the function app, here we have a functions, right? And here Microsoft has given multiple triggers. Now there is another advantage. Either you can create your function by using the portal like this, either you can create it by using the Visual Studio Code or any editor tool. So like a web application, we have discussed about that. Locally, you can create a locally your function. Inside that, you can just create a triggers inside that. You can just create a connectivity and then you can publish it over here. That is also possible. Now here, I'm just going with my portal only. So here, these are the basic one. Two things are the basic one, which is the HTTP trigger and the timer trigger. Here we have a queue storage. If you want to trigger by using the queue storage, if somebody uploads something into the queue storage, then you want to trigger it, you can do that. Service bus, similar way. This is your service bus. Service bus queues are the messaging, message-based solutions. It means it will transfer the data from one device to the other device, like your WhatsApp, your SMS. Not only like that, we will have a multiple kind of message-based solutions. So we required it. So if I want to send some information to the other application, like say there is a Flipkart. Again, I'm taking the same example for throughout the sessions. Flipkart. If you are putting something into the cart, right? And if you purchase that particular product, then it will redirect you to the other application, which is a payment application. So in between two application, if you want to build some communication, you can use this one. You can use the service bus, or you can use the queue storage. Or let's say there is a cart. If you want to store some data into the cart, you can go with the queue storage. So like that, these are the message-based solutions. Event Hub is the event-based solution, which will capture the data only. We will going to talk about that part as well. Cosmos DB. We have a IoT Hub. We have a SendGrid. SendGrid again. SendGrid is the email notification. See here, a function that sends confirmation email when new items is added to the particular queue. So if my flipkart.com is having something like that, whenever you are purchasing the order, you will get an email notification on your email ID. So if I want to create that kind of thing, then I can use a SendGrid. Event grid is there, function, durable function is there. Now what is meant by durable function? We will going to discuss about that. Kafka is there. Kafka, again, it's a capturing mechanism. RabbitMQ is a capturing mechanism. It's again, we are having the signal R. Again, it's a capturing the things, right? So let's start with the HTTP trigger and timer trigger. We are not going to talk about each and everything. We are just focusing on the basic one. Now, whenever I'm selecting that, then let's say this is a HTTP trigger. And here there are three authorization levels. What do you want? Do you want to access it only through the function key? So if you want to access this URL, let's say this anonymous means anybody can access it through the URL. Function means if you want to access this, you need to put a URL with key, function key. It is must over here. And admin means no one can access it, only the administrative person for that portal can access this. So I'm just making it as an anonymous one, and then I can just create it. Okay. Now, whenever I'm creating it, if I'm getting inside my code plus test, as I said, every function is having a 2 files. So see here we are having the index.js file, which is a code file. And here I am having a function.json file. So if I'm going in through that, see here, only in is what? It's the HTTP trigger is a in. And here we have a response. We will get a HTTP output, which is the response, which is a out function. Got it? So, sorry, you don't need to write anything over here. It will automatically get added if you are adding some integration. I will show you that part as well. But let's go over here, index.js file first. And see here. Here it's a simple code which is throwing the HTTP response as a hello. This HTTP trigger function executed successfully. And in order to add the name, you can add it into the query string by using the equal to name. See here, by using the question mark. Here you will get a question mark. And see, whenever I'm running it, it will generate a log files, and that log files will store in storage account, right? Now, if you want to check, test and run, you can just test and run it. Let's say instead of Azure, I'm just using Azure 1. I'm just sending some name in a query string. See here, hello Azure 1, this HTTP trigger function executed successfully. I can do that. Now, if you want to access it, so here we are having the get function URL. So you can just copy that value and then you can just paste it over here. See here, this is done. Still, I have not put any kind of query string. So if you want to add the query string by using the question mark, name is equal to Madhvi. Is that equal to sign is not working? What is that? My touchpad equal to sign is not working properly. All right, let me just give you this URL. Can anybody check? Yes, just access it and then question mark name is equal to your name. Can you please tell me about that? Whether you are accessing it or not?
Yes, it's working fine. I was able to access it.
Yes. Only here, the same thing you need to do. Just here you need to provide your equal to sign. That's it. Here, equal to. And then you can just enter it. So it will give you, hello Madhvi, this HTTP trigger function executed successfully. Okay. So this part is done. Now here we are having the integrations. So integration here, see, trigger is only one. Here you will not getting any option to add the trigger. No, only one trigger for one function. And here you will get a multiple input. So you can just add a multiple inputs here. So if you want to add a multiple inputs, maybe you want to add a blob storage, Cosmos database, stable storage, durable client, orchestrator client, or signal R, any